feel free to turn on your videos if you guys would like. Else, it's all right. If I understand if you guys wouldn't want to turn it on as well, and we can start off the session when I get heads up from Vamshi here.
Yeah, sure, we can start the session right now. Before that, Aditi will, sorry, I mean, Arpita will be here. She'll be delivering an intro speech. Yeah, Arpita, you can start with yours.
Okay, great.
Hello everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our GDSC alumna, Namratha Jagadeesh. She's a talented full stack developer and a current master's student in computer science at Lakehead University. She's studying on a complete scholarship. Namrata has made a real impact through her work with Ontario government and Hitachi Vantara, specializing in automation testing, accessibility compliance, and scalable software solutions. Today, she'll be guiding us through a session on how to maintain an effective and professional LinkedIn profile. Over to you, Namrata.
Thank you, Arpita, for the warm welcome and a good introduction. Okay, guys, so let's just get into the session right now. So, the topic for today's session is basically LinkedIn. So, can somebody confirm if they can see my screen,
Yeah, it's visible.
like in the presentation mode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, as you guys are aware, there's resume and there's LinkedIn, two separate components. But LinkedIn definitely is something different from your resumes, right? So, you guys will be early professionals as soon as you graduate from your degree. So, the title goes as LinkedIn for early professionals. That is you guys. So why do we need LinkedIn basically? As you guys might be aware, not only the big companies and organizations, even smaller startups and even some organizations which are non-profit organizations where you can find like plenty of volunteering opportunities or even full-time jobs, part-time jobs, all of them will be LinkedIn to hire most of them, right? And there's a whole bunch of recruiters out there who are always looking for talent like yourself, who always want to reach out and who always want to connect and find individuals that would actually make their work easier and who can contribute and help the organization to grow, in fact. And just having the resume in hand is not sufficient at this era. So you need LinkedIn because that is basically your digital resume. So that is the first thing they see when you submit an application, and your profile can in fact land interviews. And they can go through your profiles, check your projects, your different experiences, or check on your internships or even like volunteering opportunities, which is actually good if you have some experience in the line of work. And this makes it easier for you to get a job as well as for them to find a candidate that is in fact suitable for the job. So a quick question here: how many of you guys already have LinkedIn profiles set? You can just quickly type in yes or no, or if you guys are new to LinkedIn, it's still fine as just having an account ready. In fact, we can just get started, and after the session, you can go ahead and create and curate your profile in a much more efficient way, right? Okay. Okay. So first thing they see when they open your account is your profile picture. So that face is like the index of the heart. They don't see you in person, but rather when you submit your LinkedIn profile, and in fact resume. Some resumes might not have their profile pictures, but LinkedIn definitely there's a section where you have to include your profile picture, and that gives the recruiter an idea of what an individual is. They don't judge you based on how you look, but it's just how professional you can present yourself. It's the way you present yourself. So that's the first thing they see. So here are some do's and don'ts for the profile pictures. So there's no sideways. You don't have to look sideways and post, because photos that you post on Instagram is something different, and that the ones which goes on LinkedIn is actually different. The one in a more decent formal attire, where you're facing forward, and you're looking straight into the camera is something that they prefer, where you're professional and you're nice and you have a good smile, you have a smile with it. So that is what would like it's the first thing they see in your LinkedIn profile. So just avoid bad lighting or doing something on, or just a random selfie. In fact, is not exactly the one which you actually post on LinkedIn, right? So let's see. So headline is the next thing that is right after your profile picture, your name. There's, as you can see on the right side, there's this profile picture, and then there will be your name, and here's the headline. So you guys might be wondering uh, what the headline is. So the guys who have your LinkedIn profile set, what headlines do you have on your accounts? If you can drop in the chat, it would be great, because next we'll be going through what how the headline should be, and that will actually sum up what you have done and what you would want to achieve in the coming years. So, and what you actually want in your career, right? So if you guys have some headlines in your LinkedIn account, just feel free to drop it in the chat, and we can go ahead and see how a headline should be to to get you more noticeable, right? So let me just switch to the meet because I'm not able to see the screen for the chat. So feel free to drop in any headlines in your LinkedIn account. Arpita, I see that you have your hand raised. Is there any questions? You guys can definitely stop me in between for questions. I'm happy to answer.
No, it was just a hand raise for your question that you asked, right? How many of us have a LinkedIn profile? That's it.
Okay, great. Any of you guys would want to drop in like your headlines under in your LinkedIn profile, just feel free. If you are not sure, then we can in fact proceed. Okay, this headline is quite basic. It gives out information that you're studying in RNSIT, which is all right, but we are going to look into how we can improvise it, right? So we can proceed with how you can improvise it. So there's a simple formula that I've come up with to make it so much easier for you guys, because I've done more trial and error method to find a good headline. So you have your degree, which was great in the example which was given. So you have your degree there, or if you're already interning somewhere, you can mention here as say a software developer intern, you can give it here, and you can mention the company name, and then your career goal. So this you can give it as what do you aspire to be. So aspiring software developer. So if you are a student here, you would give bachelor's in computer science at RNSIT, followed by your career goal, aspiring software developer or a full stack developer, for instance. And then you have one or two interests. So, what are you interested in? So, because development has different like domains, right? Like different fields. So there's Java, then there's .NET. So just state in one or two of the keywords that you would want to like have you're interested in, to make it more easier for them to find. So when recruiters are in fact looking for candidates there on LinkedIn, so what do they do is just key in like a Java developer, and then they just go with like just click in, and then in the headline, if you have the keyword already set in your headline, so that is where they find, okay, so there is this student who is interested in this job title, say job role, say here a content creator, and then there's this SEO. Okay, they're looking for someone who has knowledge on SEO here, right? So they just, okay, they find, okay, so everything is there in this particular student, and they're looking for this job, and they're interested in this field particularly, so we can give it a shot. So that's how you receive messages from recruiters asking if you're interested, right? So make sure to keep this formula in mind while framing your headlines, so that it is much easier for them to spot you, and you are highlighted there and not just there as a student, or say you're just working somewhere and you're just an intern there. You are looking for roles where you have to upgrade yourself, right? So So here are some all right examples, not exactly bad, but you know that you're a student at this XYZ university, but what would you want to be, and what role are you seeking, or what are you interested in? They cannot figure that out here, right? And in some cases where you have your profile as like private, where you see where you give out very limited information to others who are not following you, right? So they don't see all the experience section and your project sections, and they are not aware of anything that you have done. So if you have this headline at least in this formula, then they will know that okay, you are looking for something of this kind and you are interested in this, so you would have done some work related to that, right? So that's how they find it. So so we have some more examples here. So as I said, so this states what exactly you are right now. So you are an undergrad student. Mention your college here as well, and you go with what do you want to be. So it can be a developer or any other thing. You can give it as such, AI engineer or a data analyst, for example. And what are you passionate about, or what does your interest lie in? So this you can give it here. But if you're interning somewhere, you can instead mention in this format. You can give it as your title, your job role, say a software developer intern at an XYZ company, and then you give it here as your career goal. So what do you want to do, or what do you want to be next, and what you're interested in. So it gives a clear picture of what is going on, right? And followed by that, we have the about section here. So in the about section, so your headline was basically in a single line. It summarizes everything, but does not give out the details of what skills or what exactly are you very interested in. Say it just says the keyword Java there, right? So all of that can be elaborated in the about section. So that's where you take the chance, and that's where you explain to them what do you want exactly, what are you looking for. And yeah, so just start off with a simple introduction. Like just say who you are, and just say that you have this course, you have this degree, you've done this course, and you're graduating this soon, and you're interested here in like say in different fields. So here is like a small example for that, which makes it easier in fact. So you just say that you're like a freshman here and you just graduated from this college. You can even mention your CGPA. There's no issues with that. If you have a very good CGPA, great, just go ahead and mention it. It's an advantage in fact. If you don't want to mention your CGPA, it's still fine. And make sure to mention your interests, and if you've graduated, just give here that you've graduated, or if you're currently pursuing, you can mention it here. You can also mention the courses you have taken up in school, like say you have some different subjects like machine learning course, you have your DBMS course. Just mention those courses because those are really necessary when you actually want to look for an internship that uses all that. Say a web developer requires all the skills that is taught in your DBMS class, for example, right? So you mention all that here. So what you are doing right now, what are you doing in fact with the skills? So are you working on a project, or are you interning somewhere, or have you already done some work in fact? So this example right here is for fresh graduates. So if you're a fresh graduate and you're still pursuing your course, you're almost in your sixth semester, for instance. So that's where you use this, the one that is in the box right here. But say you're already interned somewhere, you have some experience, you have interned. So that's where you use this example. So we will be jumping right into this, but I think most of you guys would want to know how you frame it for when you are just graduating without an internship experience. So you can go with this one right now. So you just state your course, your college, and then all the skills. And then what do you want to do with the skills? You want to like contribute somewhere, you want to contribute in this line of work, show like portray your skills sets, use it and elevate that skills, right? Just show a learning attitude everywhere in fact. Just make sure that the other person or the company right there, they know that you are willing to learn, and you're willing to like upgrade yourself, and you are not working with only the skill sets that you know. So this is the best section where you can show them that you are open to learning, right? So you are eager to apply your skills and knowledge like you by working on hands-on projects. So make sure to mention any project that you're working on, like very interesting projects. In fact, just put it there. And then what do you want to do? You're finding an internship opportunity. That's the main highlight, right? So just given that you're looking for opportunities and you are willing to connect for that. And I would also recommend if you can add like an email address here for them to reach out, because some might want to email you, and that's how they do it. So you can just mention your email address right after the about section. For students who already have some experience, or who are already interning, or who have already interned somewhere and looking for a new job opportunity, right? So for them, so yeah, you are a student again, you're still a student who is interning, and yeah, you can mention some skills here, and you're looking for internship opportunities or full-time opportunities. Say you have worked in some organization as an intern, just mention that you have worked here as an intern and so on. And this is something that I personally do. So what task, just make sure that you mention one or two important tasks that you had to deal with in that role, or this can actually also be applied to your project. In fact, we'll go through it in the upcoming slides. So mention about the task, one or two important tasks that you were given, what you had to do and what you did about that, how did you solve that particular problem. And it does not stop after solving the problem, right? There has to be some outcome or result or an impact. So your work has to impact the overall work that's happening in the organization, because you would be a part of the small, say there's a big project, and your contribution, though it is small, it has to be impactful, and it has to impact the bigger project. So you have to look at the bigger picture. So what has it done? So say for an example here, it says improved efficiency by 85%. There's this algorithm, and you manage to improve it by a certain percentage, or you resolve say some 15 bucks in a website. That's great. It's just fantastic. You have some good impact. So just mention the impact here, that shows that your work is having an impact like in a bigger picture. So it's helping the organization, and they expect. So since you have done some work here for an XYZ organization, so they believe that okay, you can bring this to the ABC organization, right? So you can also mention that you bring XYZ skills. So I have done this in my previous job, and I can get the skills here as well. So same goes for the project for freshers. So you can say that you have used these particular skills in your project, and you would want to bring these skills on projects that this organization, like the organizations are doing. So that's how you just relate, and you try to like make a complete picture, give them a complete picture of what you want and what you can in fact do about it. And yeah, of course, you have to mention that you are open to like finding opportunities, like to learning new skills. You are applying these skills, and you make sure that you progress in the job role. So that is what they're looking for. And then we have the experience and project sections. So in experience sections, it's not necessarily internships always. So as you all are in, like most of you guys are in the Google Developer Student Club, it's a great experience. In fact, I myself was a GDSE member, so that helped me to back my internships. So I'm proud about that. So make sure to just mention it in your experience section, because that's a plus on. Mention that you were a core team member of GDSE and what work you have accomplished. Say you are volunteering with, say, another team like IKEA, just go ahead and mention that as well. If you are in like any tech team, or there's a big O as well, just go ahead and mention that you are a member here. Any tech clubs is just great experience for a fresher. And you can even mention some volunteer work. volunteer work is another thing which I personally recommend because I love to volunteer. Just find in opportunities and jump into volunteer, I would say. um, for different causes, whatever you guys are interested in, just go with it and just volunteer because it's a very good experience. There are some tech volunteering opportunities as well. So there's this charity website that I built for a volunteering for a non-profit organization, so it was a volunteering opportunity. So just find such opportunities. It's fine if you guys are not paid, it does not matter at this point. You just have to get some good experience, solid experience, that you're going to like mention in your experience section. You just need some good experience out there in your line of work, whatever you are interested in. Another alternative, for you there's another alternative where you can show your skills, which I discuss further more. So there's projects as well. Projects is again a great uh, way to mention that you have these skills and you have learned these skills. You've not exactly mastered them, but you are learning through the projects. You have some hands-on experience, because just doing the courses would not in fact help, because anybody can do the courses, right? You have to imply the knowledge there in your projects. You are using your skills there. So mention good projects which you would have worked on. I can show you some examples of the projects as well, like how do you mention it in your LinkedIn profile, and yeah, just go ahead with the project. So how do you mention all of this is again the STAR method. Is again the situation. What was the situation? Say there's this website that you had that was working and it had some updates, and what was the task given? So you as an intern had to use your, say, your front end skills in order to like enhance the site. So that you can say as your task, if you have done such work, for instance. And for action, what did you do about that? So maybe you included like a carousel, or you just included maybe like a bulletin board, like for making it easier for the users, and they can be updated about the events that's happening, something like that. And what was the result? This improved uh, the site in such a way that it improved, say, the readability of the site, or it added more features to the site, and that made it the site more like good. And you can just go on like that. uh, Another example is your machine learning algorithms. Say you have this model, and your task was to improve the efficiency. Say you just you did some action there, and you increase the efficiency of that working model by so and so percent, and that led to a very good prediction of a certain thing. So those are some examples where you can use the STAR method. So you can use that for all the three parts of it: the internship, projects, and volunteer work as well. And then we have the skills, certifications, and the courses. So for the skills, it can be both technical and non-technical skills. Some might think that non-technical skills is not exactly essential. So that's not the case, because now anybody and everybody can have technical knowledge, in fact. But uh, in my personal experience when I was interning back in Canada, so that's where my seniors told me that, okay, you have good communication skills, and that's what we are looking for. We want interns who can, in fact, write good emails, because they don't know how to communicate with their superiors. They don't know how to make a good report. So that is what they are looking for. So they want that candidate to have good communication skills. They should know how to communicate, so make sure to include your non-technical skills there as well. Say you have a leadership role, mention leadership there, not necessarily being a leader in a group or something, but say you took a stand and you led a team of four for a project or a hackathon. It's great experience, so just add in leadership there. And team player, you can add in that as well. And technical skills too, you can mention there, right? And make sure to have your there's a place where you can actually make sure that you say you worked with X person there, and you can actually say that they are good at the skill, so you can do that when you are working in a team of four, you can ask the other three to give you that there. So they say that you have their work with you with, like, when you're using the skill and you're good at it, right? So it's a good thing to show that, okay, you are actually working on the skill, you have not just mentioned it there. Another way, you can mention your skill in your projects as well, and that automatically comes up in the skill section now. So that's another thing that's there now. And for the certifications and courses can be the courses which you guys are even pursuing in your bachelor's. So make sure to mention all the essential courses there, because that is laying the foundation for your job there. So if you want to go with like a web developer, then you have your DBMS subjects, then you have rest of the other subjects you have in operating system. I think that's also a good course. Just add in those main courses there and make sure that they are in there. And for certifications, there are a lot of platforms, and now there are different sites where you can do your certifications, like just build in your certification, make use of those courses, learn new skills, take up the examinations and mention it there. So some good sites are Coursera, then EDX, then NPTEL. I'm aware you guys are doing those courses, and that's great. And then some certified courses as well, where you have some examinations for courses like for Azure and for cybersecurity, where you have some courses which you can mention if you're interested in. You have to take up the exam in fact and then mention the courses and the certifications. And you can also probably attach your certificate under it. And then you can also mention your scores. Say if some of you are interested in are in higher year and you are interested in your higher education, then there are exams that you take up for that. And even there's gate exam, if you guys are taking that up and you have a good score there, please mention it there, and that will boost your profile. Make sure to mention all of that in these sections. And what do you do after having a LinkedIn profile? You have to connect, right? You will have to connect with the people you know, your professors, your professionals, even seniors, your alumni. Just go ahead and connect with them, know what they're doing, the companies you're interested in, where you would want to work, and say some non-profit organizations. And say it can be some influencers on LinkedIn who actually have some solid content out there for resume, cover letters. They are indeed great. Just follow them up, hit them up, and you can do that. And make sure that you are not keeping your LinkedIn dead. It's just not important to just leave it after creating your profile. It is in fact very important for you to keep it updated, and you have to connect and you have to engage with the community there. So that's how you get yourself noticed, and that's how you get yourself out there, right? And you how you can boost this engagement is by commenting on posts which you're interested in. If you're interested in a job position, they have an opening, just make sure and just comment there that you're interested. Or say if you like the work that somebody has done on their project, you can comment on that. You have some improvement, just go ahead and comment about that. So just keep the engagement alive and make sure that they know that you are there, right? And then you can share your insights on a project or anything that you know of. It's still good as long as you are active on LinkedIn. And so a small activity would be to connect with at least five people after the session. That would give you a good exercise. But it's not only just connecting, just not clicking the connect button there with some of the professionals. We have to craft a good message, right? To like send that request. Why say you're sending me a request? So why are you guys sending me a request? So what do you want to learn, or what do you want by connecting with me, right? So that is needed. Or if I wouldn't know you, then maybe like a small introduction, or why are we even connecting? So that is needed, right? So we shall jump into that. So how do you reach out with confidence? So you just can't reach out to an HR just by sending them clicking on that connect button, right? You need a solid message. Why are you reaching out to them? So we are going to deal with that. So, has anybody sent any connection request so far, or anybody reached out like to anybody saying that you want to talk to them over a coffee chat, or just like a brief introduction, or anybody wants to like drop in a message of how you can craft? Your guesses are very, very welcome and very appreciated. You can just guess how can that message be. Say you're connecting with me, so what would you type in there when you're connecting? I'm just curious. So if you guys can drop in, it can be a line, it can be few words, it's fine, as long as it's within 200 words, because that's like the limit of the message you type in, right? So does anybody like want to like key in what you would uh, type there as a message when you're reaching out to someone, or say myself? Maybe we'll give it like 2 minutes, perhaps a minute or two, for people to like frame in any message. No judging here, and just feel free to type in anything that comes to your mind, in fact, when you are connecting with someone. If you guys are, if you guys are like don't want to type, it's still fine. Maybe I'll just give it a minute if somebody is typing it in. Okay, maybe you guys will get an idea of how you can type in, like send a custom message to someone when you are connecting. So we can jump into the slides. Uh, Feel free to type in when we are even like progressing through the session. It's still fine. Second. Okay. So these are some pointers where which you keep in mind when you're keying the message. So you're not sending the same message to everyone. Make sure to do that. Say you copy paste some message, and you forget to like change the name. How awkward would that be, right? You're just sending the same message to everyone, and then it's just they lose interest in connecting with you, and they just decline your connection. It's not a good way to do it. So make sure to like personalize every message, at least change their names and what you are reaching out for, because every person you're reaching out to would have like a different reason, right? You're reaching out to, say, me for some reason, you're reaching out to your professor for some reason, so mention that in a different way. And how like when you're mentioning, you can mention like the shared interest. Say you can say you saw that I'm working on some project, like a full stack project, that you are interested in. So you say that even you are very interested in this, and you worked on this, and you would want to connect. Or say that I found you like to be my alumni, like RNSIT alumni, and you seem to be one of my seniors, and I would love to know about your work. So that's how you give it in there for the school. Or for the field, you can say that I see that you're working in cybersecurity field, and I would love to learn something like some concepts, or you would love to learn about that line of work, or how cybersecurity stuff is dealt with. So that's how you mention for the shared interest, school or field. And make sure to keep your tone very respectful and concise, because you wouldn't know the other person, right? They wouldn't exactly be your friend sometimes. So Just shoot in any message to me, it's fine. But when you're connecting with like a professional or with whom you really want to like get the job from, or like an HR, make sure to keep your tone very respectful and concise, and that's how you you get a response from them, right? And yeah, make sure to send them like a thank you note. Even though they have not responded, it's fine, because maybe they just forgot, and when you send in that thank you note, they are reminded that okay, you sent them a message here, and they they would reply to you, right? If they would want to, or if they're busy, it's still fine. At least they remember that you reached out, and you got we still got back to them even though they didn't reply. So here are some examples for the messages that you can send in. So there's a limit of 200 uh, characters when you're sending an initial connection request message to someone. So you have to keep it under that. So just mention your name and what you're doing right now, and from which university or college, and how did you find that person, or the shared interest, right? Like how did you know about this individual, and why are you connecting with them? Just mention that, and just thank them after that. So if you are requesting for a coffee chat to learn more about their work, and that much information cannot be sent like through a chat itself, then you would need to like connect with them separately later after a meet, or say G Meet or Zoom. So just send in a message that you are very interested to know about that, and you are exploring like a similar path, or you're interested in the similar line of work, and then you are going to request them for some time, right? So that you can go in detail about what you would want to know about that. And as I said, make sure to like leave in like a good follow-up message, even though they have replied or not. That's important. Here are some do's and don'ts for that, for your entire LinkedIn profile as a whole, not exactly just the messages. So just keep updating your profile weekly, I would say. Keep it up, like just update it every week. Say you learned a new skill in class, mention that. Then you did something new here, you volunteered here, mention that. A certification, a new course, okay, that's great, just mention it there and just keep it updated, so that you don't have to rush with updating it when you are actually applying for an internship role or for a job role, right? And you have to be authentic, not just what somebody has mentioned there. Somebody says that they are XYZ. You just don't go on to say that you are also XYZ. That does not make you stand out or unique, right? Be your own authentic self out there. Show your personality there. Show what sort of an individual you are. What are you interested in truly, not just to get the job, right? The main goal is to get the job, but when they have to give you that job, they are going to see your whole personality and see you as a whole. So it is necessary to like show in what kind of an individual you are through your profile. Some don'ts is not to leave anything incomplete. Though you don't have any experience, I'm sure you guys will definitely have something to do with that. Say you volunteered, or you have some, maybe it's for a very brief period, say for a few weeks. It's fine. Mention that there as well. It's still fine. You would have done something to mention in your experience section. Just mention whatever it is, and not to copy paste your resume, because it's not exactly your resume, right? You're not submitting your document here, you're just showing who you truly are. But resume has some words, and they just read through that and they wouldn't exactly know. They would be like, okay, you did this and this. We have another candidate who did the same thing, so they don't see any difference there, right? So not to copy paste the resume here, because LinkedIn is not the resume in fact. And no, do not add any irrelevant information. Say you have a dog, it's not needed to add that you have a dog there, or post about your dog there on your profile, right? So just avoid all the irrelevant information. Just keep it in the line of work. Some maybe a little deviation to show your personality, but not something entirely different that is going to deviate your entire profile and make it seem very off. So we are almost coming to the end of the session. Would somebody want some feedback on their LinkedIn profile? Like right now, we can go ahead, look at your profile, and see how you can improve it. I'm very happy to do that. And yeah, closing tip is just to make your it's LinkedIn is not your resume. As I said, it's not just a document. Just it's your story in motion, right? They see who you are, what are your posts, what are your activities. So you just make it count. So I think we have a chat here. Somebody raised the hand. Let me just check. Okay, Anish and Yukta. Great. We have two volunteers. You guys have any questions, or are you guys willing to share in your profiles where we can go deeper into that?
Yeah, I'll share my profile.
Okay, great, Anish. We can do that. You can share your screen.
Yeah, 1 second.
Sure. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute and ask, or just drop it in the chat and I can answer that for you guys. Anything, it can be anything with respect to any section of LinkedIn or anything, right? Hey. Okay, let's start off with your initial profile. That's the first section of your profile. Yes, you have a good profile picture. Shows that you're there. You're in college. You have a decent picture, I would say. When you're applying for the job, like full time job, I would suggest to keep it a little more professional, perhaps maybe little closer. But this is still fine for a student who's looking for an internship.
Okay.
Your headline is great. I would say yeah, just keep that. I mean, it's good. You mentioned that you have your contact information there, and then your location. That's good. So that when they look for a candidate in say Bangalore, then they find profiles, right? Bangalore, say someone who's interested in ML, and say someone's looking for some specific college graduate, then it's great. They find your profile. Yeah. Okay, you must add a summary there. So that's the about section which we dealt with today. So your headline is great. Just make sure to like emphasize on what your headline is about, like what do you want to do and how you are implying your skills, your projects you're working on. You can mention it right there. So you make sure to mention some information in your summary section. That's very important, and your contact information there as well.
Yeah, sure.
I see you have some posts. That's great. So that shows that you're active. You're active on LinkedIn. So that's very much essential, right? Okay.
And I haven't added any experience so far.
Okay. So as I said, you would have done something right in college as a
Yeah.
part of any club, or just go ahead and mention that there, right? Yeah, your
Yeah.
education section is clean. Since you have your one program right now, and you would want to, you might even include anything important you would have done in school, like anything related to tech, or any good club that you joined in, or you have a very good percentage at the end. You can still go ahead and add in your school details there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, your license and certification section good look great. You have a good NPTEL course there, algorithm course, that's good. You have a bunch of certifications there, I see that. That's good. Mentioning your certifications will definitely help. Yeah, a good way where you linked it. So another thing you can do here is if you have worked with someone like with on a project, you can ask them to like give you that thing on the skills. I actually forgot what you call that. You can actually tell them that you have worked with them on this particular skill and you have good knowledge on that. So that is one thing you can do there. And
Endorsements, you mean, right? Endorsements.
exactly, yes, this that's right. You can endorse your teammates, and that
Yeah.
will add an edge to your profile. You can also ask your professors to drop a recommendation for you on your LinkedIn profile. So that's also a very good highlight for your profile.
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to make you stand out. I didn't see any projects. Maybe adding one or two important projects with very good
Yeah.
results is good.
Where exactly should I add those projects?
So there's this add profile section. You go in there and you'll have to choose projects. So that will come up as a different section.
Okay, here. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Good. I'll do that. Thank you.
It's a good decent profile. Just make sure that you don't leave anything empty out there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any section, or you're confused about how to mention something, or can feel free to ask me that. In fact, can you can also like mail or ping me on LinkedIn. Let me just share my screen quickly. Okay, we have another volunteer there. That's good, Yukta. Hi, Yukta. You can unmute and you can ask me a question or share your screen.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'll share my profile.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can scroll a little bit up.
Yeah, I'll do it. Are you able to see it?
Yes, 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 I can see it
Yeah, yeah.
properly now. Okay, your profile picture is decent. Yes, not exactly professional, but it's still decent. I suggest that you can like change your banner and make it more like expressive and say what you are looking for there as well. Say something related to like if you are looking for dev works and something related to dev or something like that to showcase
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
great.
sure.
Okay, your headline is good. Yeah, that's good headline right there. Maybe mention your college there at the beginning so that they know uh, where you are studying, right? Like at RNSIT, you can say just make it concise CSC student at RNSIT or CSC undergrad at RNSIT, something like that. Then you have
Yeah,
your
yeah.
location, okay, and some contact information there. Okay, yeah, you seem to be active on LinkedIn as well. That's great. Okay, the experience section. Yes, looks good. Where you have clearly mentioned your titles there. Maybe just add in like one or two pointers about what exactly you did there, like for the club, like that, like the star method. So you can mention through that, like what skills did you use here or anything of that sort, just to emphasize on what work you're doing with the team would be good.
Yeah, yeah. I'll do it.
And I did see like a virtual internship in one of your posts. I think you can mention that in your experience section. It's a good
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. I've
Yes.
shared it in licenses and certificates.
Okay. Still, it would be great if you can mention in your experience. because sometimes they look through your experience and they'll be like, okay, you have this internship, okay, that's good, you have some experience, but some might miss on your like your other sections, right?
Yeah.
So if you can
Yeah.
add
Yeah.
it there as well, it would be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
You have some good certifications, a good number of certifications. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you have a project section. Probably we have an example of a project section here. Can you elaborate like on that, like the same? Or let's just see what the project is about and is it mentioned? Like what can you add in there? Just the same
Yeah.
or
I've just shared it as a post, I guess.
okay.
1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 second. I'll show it. Yeah. This one.
Okay. So this is more about like your project, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good that you have some demo there. So I see that you won like the best project award, right? So that
Yeah.
can go in one of the sections there. So things like this is what you have to highlight on your profile because not everybody that would have won that award, right? So if you can
Yeah.
go back to your profile, I can tell you where exactly you can add that in.
Yeah. 1 second.
And for the rest of you guys as well, if you have scored higher, like say you receive an award, make sure to have it there in the section, like separately mentioned, so that they know that you have won something and that makes you stand out from the rest of the others.
Where exactly should I go?
If you can scroll down a bit for me.
Yeah. Projects.
So maybe you'll have to add in like a profile section
Yeah.
and
One.
that's where it will pop up. There's a separate section for that, I believe. Positions. Okay, if you can click on like the recommended and the additional ones.
Yeah. These are the recommended ones.
Okay, if you can scroll down with okay,
Additional.
yeah, the awards, honors and the awards. Yeah, you go right
Yeah.
in
This one.
there.
I got
Yeah,
it.
and you add that there so that they know that it's an award, right? It's not just a normal project.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make
I'll do
sure
it.
that you guys even add in like your research papers, any papers that you're working on, you got it published. Those are great additions. Just add in your research work as well. Yeah, you can add
Mm.
that there, and that will be a good highlight for that. I see that you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
some skills there, and they are linked to your certifications. They look fine. Make sure to
Yeah.
add in like the non-technical skills as well. That's essential too. If you haven't added, then please make sure to add that.
Yeah. I have added, I guess. Yeah. This one.
Okay, that's
Communication.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good addition, right? Okay,
Yeah. That's all, I guess.
and you have some in no. I think you can even add in like any volunteer work you're interested in later if you would like, or it's not very much important, but it's optional. Your profile looks good. You have completed almost all the sections. It's just out there. It's good. It's a good profile to start with. Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. If any of you guys have any other questions for me that I can take, I'll be okay, Dhruti. Uh, you can
I have a question actually.
sure go ahead.
Uh, Like, how did you secure company funding and fellowships for your masters in Canada? And what strategies would you recommend for others to get similar support?
This might be a whole new session, I suppose. But to give you the answer in brief, um, so personally, just make sure that the other organization you're interested in like knows that you are actually interested. I would say mail them. Cold emailing would help. That's the first thing. Cold email them or connect with them on LinkedIn and just shoot them a message that you're interested. Personally, for on my end, I just found the internship like on one of the social media platforms. If I have to be honest here, but the application took a lot of effort and time for me because everybody would have the same skills, right? So that is where you have to show your personality. You have to be authentic with your application anywhere, be it in your resume or in your application in general. Be authentic there. Your authentic self will help. And just make sure that you personalize it. Make sure that you are stating your experiences and not something that they are asking for. So that is something I did. And for the funding, it just came in with the internship. They did see all the research work that I did for them, how I stayed active. Just show them that you are really interested in learning. So that is something I'm stressing on for you guys. Just make sure that they know that you are someone who wants to learn and upgrade. So that's how they know that okay, this candidate is someone who can actually upgrade themselves and they're not just going to be stuck like with whatever they know, right? So make sure to do that. And yeah, just maybe having more some patience and some belief in yourself that you can do it is good. It's going to help you in the long run. Yeah, so that is how I did it. If we can talk more about like my internship like in specific, like later, just ping me a message after the session and we can definitely discuss on that. You guys have
Sure. Thank you. And I have few more questions actually.
sorry.
And could you share with us an example of how your personal projects or portfolio works that helped you secure or succeed in any internships that you took up?
Sure. I can actually give you guys my LinkedIn profile. I have it. I have like almost everything documented there. It's basically like my personal notebook, I would say, because I just keep updating it there. So I am going to just drop in my LinkedIn profile and you guys can go through that there. I have mentioned some projects and stuff there, and I think you guys will get an idea of my work there, I suppose. Okay, I think it didn't go in that well. Okay, so second one should work. You just keep updating yourself, your skills, just not to stay stagnant. That that's the thing, right?
Yeah, just one last question.
Sure.
Uh, yeah, when we are faced with any new topic, say under time pressure, what's the first thing you do? Like, how do you structure your learning to learn it faster? How will be your learning approach to that?
Okay, that's a good question, I would say. So, as for me, like personally, I would see how the entire thing works. So, I'm just going to glance through the entire process, say like very briefly, not anything in detail. Then try to like break that down and understand by myself how things work. And if I'm not figuring it out, and that's when I go a little more into detail, not exactly into the very details of it, a little more, maybe a brief of that step, and I try to connect the dots. Okay, so this is the thing and this is how it works. Okay, I'm confident of how it works. Now I have to learn how each component or each step or each part of it works. So that's where I have to jump into the details. So I try to understand how that part of it is done and go into the details there. So that's how I break it down. So just go through the entire process once, try to process it, and if you're good, then you go into the details stepwise. If not, then you go into more detail, not exactly more very much in depth, but maybe not just like on the surface level, a little more under that, right? So that's how I am going to like deal with the new topics I'm faced with. Personally, I would do that, but some of them would say taking up a course, a certification is helpful. Yes, I agree on that as well. But when you're very short on time, where you just cannot jump into a course or a certification, then it's difficult. So everybody have their own learning methods, and I would say this is mine. Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Thanks for the questions, guys. Uh, any more questions? Vamshi, you have any questions for me? Then I'm happy to answer as well.
Questions? No, exactly. But I had to say about the session, which was really amazing. First of all, I think more than just LinkedIn building, it felt like what we should be doing offline. That would again go ahead and reflect on our LinkedIn as well. So it felt like what all are our checkpoints in our undergrad journey that we must fulfill in order to have a great profile.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'm glad I delivered that. That's important, not just having a LinkedIn profile, but actually working towards it and having a very good profile to secure your job and internship at the end of it, right? I'm glad I delivered that for you guys. So I shall be sharing the presentation with Vamshi, and I can mail you guys the presentation if it is like if you need to go back to any section or just go back to any part of it, and if you're stuck, then just refer to that and complete your LinkedIn profiles. And I would love to see your LinkedIn profiles complete again. So feel free to like ping me on LinkedIn and just say hi. I've just finished my profile, and you would want to go through it. And any suggestions or improvements, I'm happy to help with that as well. So just feel free to like ping me anytime on LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay. I think you guys are good then. So we are going to end the session perhaps. I'm so glad I delivered this session for you guys. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm glad to be back. It feels like I'm back in GDSC team and I'm delivering one of the sessions. But it's great that you guys joined in and learned something. I hope you guys will like come up with a good profile. I would say yeah, thank you everyone for attending the session.
Okay, so thank you, Namrata. It was a wonderful session and very informative. Thank you for joining us and making this wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank you,
guys.
Namrata. Thank you so much.
Thank you.